River State last Saturday are still here with us. A lot of people had thought perhaps that election will not hold. But lo and behold, the election held, and it was a battle of supremacy between the governor, Sim Fubara, and his estranged political godfather, the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. While some agree that, okay, the election has come and gone, let the bridges be gapped, bridges be gapped, and let everybody continue with their businesses. Others are saying, no, we must seek redress in court. That's what we intend to take a look at on the conversation today. And remember, during our opening, we had talked about conflicting court judgment and how everybody tends to run back to the judiciary to seek redress. We have a lawyer and a political observer in the studio this morning and would like to, of course, tap from his experience and how he will interpret what happened in River State last weekend. Tunde So, thank you for being here on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Right, Joshua.
Okay, let's just set the background. What do you make of Rivers election on Saturday? From the offshoot of the High Court in Abuja that said, look, INEC register, don't release, so you don't have the updated version. Then RCX saying we've got it covered with another ruling from the state high court. We do know that court of coordinate jurisdiction, but the governor went ahead because he feels for the people of Rivers. Or better still, he doesn't want the money that should start in October elapse, because if you don't conduct elections, local government money won't be released to you. What do you make of what led to that election and the election itself?
Thank you once again. I will tell you nothing. And that may sound a bit strange. And I said nothing because it's nothing new, it's nothing novel. What happened in River State is recurrent. It happens all the time in our political terrain. So if you make it out as something new, something that's never happened before, it's not true. It's just a fight of political gladiators. People seeking to control the resources of the state. That's what this is all about, nothing more. We will go into the other part of it, the role of the judiciary, the role of the police, and all of that. These are just offshoots. The critical thing is that this is nothing new. This has been the recurrent situation in Nigeria since 1999. A godfather puts a godson, the godson wants to exert his independence, and we seem to enjoy when these gladiators fight. You know, that is what we do. Nobody's going to the root. Why is this happening? And where is this leading us to? We're going to ask questions about judiciary and all of that, but those are just offshoots. These are just people who are pawns in a political game between gladiators, and that's what it's all about.
Right. So, I mean, from what you've just pointed out, it is not new, and but then lessons to be learned are probably the things that we'll pick up from this. But let's look at the role of the judiciary. It's beginning to look like the politicians are losing respect for court judgments. Joshua rightly pointed out some of the judgments that were given leading to the election, and you realize that in so many cases, politicians will pick part of the judgment that suits them, throw away that part that they do not agree with, and go ahead to do their own bidding. And at the end of the day, those that also feel aggrieved, they want to go back to the judiciary for same interpretation. Can we talk about the conflicting orders, the role of the judiciary in this particular situation?
We will talk specifically about it, but this is just, again, it's theoretical. It's theoretical.
Okay, so you'd like to, can you pick?
No, we will pick both. We'll
Okay.
pick the judgment of Lifu and we'll pick the judgment of Igwe.
Right.
You know, one federal high court, one state high court, giving in court conflicting judgment. But again, it's very commonplace. The judiciary has become part of the state capture. I'm sorry to say this, I'm a lawyer, a very senior lawyer. But looking from outside in, I don't think how we earn the respect of anybody. I'm talking of the courts, I'm talking of the judiciary. I don't see how we earn the respect of any court. I don't know what the NJSA is doing to put his men and his house in order. Now, we're dealing with, there was going to be an election. And somebody said, you can't hold this election from Abuja because you have a 90-day notice for the voters list to be displayed. For people to go there, is my name registered and all of that. So if you don't do that, the condition precedent to the order of the election has not been met.
Right.
Somebody in Rivers is saying, Igwe is saying, no, you must hold the election. What is that thing that allows for conflicting judgments? Who holds you responsible? Because you know for a fact that there's a judgment concerning this, who holds anybody responsible? Who calls them to order? Nobody, really.
Right,
Of course, you
and
have the
this should be the role
agency.
of
No,
the
no, that's the
NGC?
role of the NJC. Yes, that is the role. Because we're a self-regulating body. You remember the case of a CGN, I won't mention it, that the FCC wanted to go after them. And the NJC said, no, you can't. And we lawyers said, no, you can't. We regulate ourselves. But for an outside looking in, does it seem like we truly regulate ourselves?
Right.
As long as these judges know for a fact that they can give conflicting judgment, and if you're not satisfied, go on appeal. If you're not satisfied, go on appeal. Who disciplines anybody for this conflicting judgment? As long as there's not enough discipline, I'm not saying that the NGC does not discipline people. Of course they do. But what signal does this send out? When you say, for instance, that the police cannot perform its constitutional role, you're restraining the police, you're restraining the DSS from performing its constitutional role. You know you can't.
Okay.
You cannot. The primary duty of the police is to secure lives and property. That is the main duty, both by the Police Act and the Constitution. That is what they're set up to do.
Right.
But you're saying an election is going to hold. Do not get involved.
Right.
You can't
Sorry,
go
Joshua.
there.
Let me just a build up to this would be the fact that yes, one judgment was given by a federal high court, the other was given by the state high court, and then of course in law, I don't know how you. Is there a hierarchy?
No. They are part of coordinate jurisdiction.
Right, so of course
they are both
one is
high
at
court.
the federal and then...
They are coordinate jurisdiction.
So in this case, the state governors, are they also culpable of how they also use the judiciary? Because again, they are court of coordinate jurisdiction here, and so you can't say one is higher than the other.
So I pick and choose, right?
Yes, I pick and choose. So as a state governor, I choose what suits me in the state, and I get to say what the federal is saying. So is that also an issue where state governors are also part of the problem?
I'm bold enough to say, I won't be, sorry to say this, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, am I bold enough to say I won't be used by anybody? When I take that oath of office as a judge, I'm saying my decisions, I mean, look at the symbol of justice, blind. Would I be blind to influences? That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter about who wants to use you. Okay. Are you ready to be used? Politicians will do anything to secure power.
Right.
It's just normal. What is the trajectory? Go through your history as a democracy. You have somebody who installs somebody, and the person who is installed says, hey, I'm a man. I want to exert and exercise my own independence, and all of this drama. Where does it all end? It ends up in a court. So you need men and women of integrity who will say, no, when it comes before me, I'm going to do right by the law, by my oath of office. So it doesn't matter what the governor wants to do. What's the worst thing that can happen to you?
Let's stick with still the judiciary. The person heading the RCEC, River State Independence Electoral Commission in River State, is a retired judge. Can we assume that he doesn't understand the dictates of the law or what judgment?
It's not just pick and choose. It's obeying the order of a court. The police, they say, even though there's already an appeal. I mean, APP and AA, you ever heard of those action parties, Action Alliance? You ever heard of them before this election? No. It's like pick and choose. The police will say to you that, okay, there's a judgment of the Federal High Court. I've chosen to obey the judgment of the court. And that was what ACP Muyiwa said, the spokesperson. Said, well, there's a judgment. I'm bound by the judgment. I'm going to obey the judgment.
Right.
The one in Rivers is saying, oh, there's a judgment. I'm bound to obey the judgment. And that's it. So all of this, we're going to end up at the Court of Appeal. We're going to the Supreme Court over all of this.
Right. So the council chair was sworn
on Sunday.
They were sworn
on Sunday.
On Sunday.
A day after.
The day after the election. And of course, those that are aggrieved have promised to go to court and seek redress for this particular situation. And so, of course, further litigation may arise from this. But for you, must we always seek redress for election issues in Nigeria? Because again, like you said, it is not novel. It has happened, and it will continue to happen unless drastic actions are taken. So issues around litigation from election issues, local government election at that, must we always...
We will.
We will.
We will. See, until we're ready to save this country, until we're ready to accept that being a governor, being a local government chairman, being anything is about service to the people, unless we get to that point, and not a contestation for power, for resources. We'll continue to have. What has changed? I mean, Kwara State just had its own local government election. What happened? The ruling party, Jigawa had the same, everywhere had the same. So Lagos will have its own, and the same thing will be replicated.
Okay, that brings me to the question of, so can you say that those clamoring that, look, let's take State Independent Electoral Commission out of the equation and bring it back to INEC? Right. Do you say that that argument is justified? Or better still, can we say if we are trying to move SEC back to INEC, because INEC has history of conducting better elections, credible, and that's another conjecture altogether. They can conduct better elections, talking about INEC, and it is national for local government. And those arguments say, look, we're trying to devolve power to the states. We are talking about state police now. How does that work? Because now, is that subject to abuse as well? Because if you're saying state governors have a say as to how SEC operates. How do you interpret this?
Honestly, you've answered the question. We practice what is called, what we're used to is the cabinet system, where one person in the center says, do this, and everybody follows. Now, if you say you practice democracy, it's about devolution of powers to the lowest level. Now, if you want to burden the INEC with municipal election, local government election, then it shows that you're not ready for what is called democracy. It shows that you're not ready for state police. You know what this guy said, Shehu Sani? He said, when INEC conducts election, they take some and they leave some for others. But this state independent electoral commission, they take everything. They take everything. But it is sad, but that's where we are. And we're not making progress. And it's not even all this that worries. What worries me is that we're pushing this democracy to the brink. Right. We are. It's not making sense.
Peradventure, I want us to look at the impact of the local government election, this particular one, on governance and local government autonomy that is being pushed for. Peradventure, the courts rules that the election was indeed a sham and it was invalid. What does this say about progress and local development that, you know, the governor is actually pushing for why he held the election in the first place? Is this some kind of drawback or some kind of, you know, a spanner in the wheel?
Are you asking me a question as a journalist, or do you believe what you just said about the governor, you know, pushing for...
No,
he's not.
That's what he said.
No, I know what he said.
Right.
But anyway, you are not in a position to answer.
Exactly.
You're not in a position.
I'm only saying what he said.
You know, the sad thing is this. Is there really a provision that you need to display the voters' registers 90 days before the election?
There is a provision.
There is a provision.
That has not been met. That has not been met. So if you're not careful, I can speak to it. You know, I don't want to.
Yes, you don't want to preempt.
To preempt anything.
Right.
But if that is mandatory, and if that wasn't done, then there's a bit of trouble. These people that went under the auspices of Action, People's Party, and Action Alliance, one had 22, one had 1. Is there a provision that you must be members of a political party for a certain number of days before you can contest? Was that done? So your local fight, you know, a godfather, a godson, you're used to destroy everything. One tyrant for another. You remember 8 years ago, when Wike was chasing away Amechi, and we're hailing him, hey, the greatest guy in the world. Now it's the turn of Fubara to chase away Amechi. Go back to many years ago when Oshiomhole was chasing away Aneni, the fixer, the strong man of Edo. We were all hailing him, but today it's the godfather to Okpebolo. Okpebolo that defeated Anasue and Lulu Apata in an election. I'm worried. We are pushing this democracy to the brink. Right. And I will tell you something. We'll come back to your question. Let's just say something about the Edo election. It wasn't much about people snatching boxes. It was somebody offering you 10,000 naira. Come and vote. And you are saying, I don't trust the system. I'd rather trade away the next 8 years of my life for 10,000 naira. What the Ekitis will call Dibosebe, you know, vote and collect money for cooking stew. Yeah. So 8 years of governance is worth what?
10,000.
10,000 naira. Come to Fubara and his boss. Was it not the same Fubara that was declared wanted and his posters everywhere for 117 billion naira fraud when he was the Director of
Accountant
Finance,
General.
Accountant General. Was he not the same Fubara? The House of Assembly was bombed. Who was responsible for that? And now we're talking about AAA and AA, 22-1. There's no democracy here. Like I said, we can have this conversation. There's a judgment in Abuja. There was an appeal. Because there was an appeal and an application for stay, the police should have provided security. We can talk, these are just theoretical. The root causes. We're looking forward to the Ododo and what's the fugitive governor, whatever his name is, Bello. You will get to all that point. All of governance in Nigeria is now boiling down to a godfather, a godson, control of the resources of the state for your personal use.
How does the people of Rivers play into this? Because everything is predicated on them. You have conversations like the governor said, I'm doing this because I want the people of Rivers State not to lose out from what the Supreme Court has said. Look, if you don't, there was a grace period that was given 3 months that, look, if you don't conduct elections, local government elections, allocations won't be released to you. And the governor said, look, it's because I care for my people. That's the conversation. And you're wondering, so can we say, because I personally feel local government election is one of the most critical elections you can have in a country. We have the counties, you have the mayors there in other climes, and they're very powerful people because they can actually speak to the national politics as well. From there, you begin to raise other leaders from the local government. How does this play out? Are the people shortchanged in the name of helping them? That's my question.
Can I put you on the spot?
No, you are on the spot. So
you know what I was
enjoy it.
No, I don't want the spotlight. But you know what I was going to ask you to do? That name the local government chairman of wherever you stay, or 10 local government chairpersons in Lagos. You may not know that.
I know the one.
But if I ask you to mention 9 others, you won't be able to.
No,
you know why? Because you're not interested. That's in answering your question. We enjoy, as a people, we enjoy what we call cruise. We just enjoy fights. We enjoy, but we're not, with due respect, we don't get into systems, to processes, into. I know we're deep thinkers, but we just enjoy the cruise and all of that. So the governor says to you, go and join. Did the governor say to you, go and join AA, go and join A? And no. This has nothing to do with the people. The people will go in a certain direction. I mean, again, let me just stop. I was going to refer to the people queuing outside. The people will vote the way the governor wants them to vote, because they've been made to believe that Wike is one horrible man. And this was the Wike they were in Yedeba. We were singing songs. We had band just how many months ago? 1 year ago.
Right.
It's now the most horrible human being on the face of the earth, right? They will go in the direction that the governor wants them to go. They're not engaging the process. They're just doing what they are told to do. They're living for the moment. Because how does a governor who's a member of PDP, how does he celebrate?
The fact that I'm still a member of the PDP.
I'm still a member of the PDP and in quote
yet my
opposition
legs is in
parties. AA, whatever, are now the ones. It's just about the governor telling you what to do, and people follow it because they don't critically engage the process, and we don't critically engage processes. We enjoy watching the gladiators fight.
You said it's cruise. Are we a cruise nation?
We are.
Why?
We are. See, what has happened to Nigeria is that, I mean, growing up, and you growing up, you are the elite. They actually represent the best that your country has. They reflect your country. That's the elite. And elite simply doesn't have to do with money. Your education, the positions that you hold, and all of that. But right now, I mean, growing up, you had people like Adebayo's Success. They were on the fringes of the society. They were not mainstream. That's the thug. But now, who are the people? Who are the people in your mainstream? People who should be on the fringes. People who should be ashamed of what they do. They're the ones now controlling whatever. So the elite has been, what you call the elite, the middle class, they've been destroyed. So values are picked from the fringes. The things that we celebrate are picked from the fringes. And a country can't go that way. There are many people in government who should not be in government. You know that. So it's called just your words getting to your words getting to the top. And this is what it reflects.
Let's talk about electoral integrity going forward. Oftentimes we complain about voter apathy and say, the electorate will say, I don't want to vote because I know my votes won't count. And a lot of people have been saying, if you continue to say your votes can count or won't count, then you have a right not to complain. But if we continue to see things like this, continue to witness things like this, are we ever going to get better with issues around voter apathy and electoral integrity?
So two answers. The first answer basically is, it's even better for me to say I won't vote. And that's a form of protest, right? But for me to say, give me 10,000 naira and I will trade away the next 8 years, I'm saying to hell with the country. That's the implication. It's gone beyond protest. When I say I won't vote, I'm saying I don't trust you guys. But when I say, you know what, give me 10,000, I'm saying I don't care. If the country
so
wants to
anything
burn,
can happen.
let it burn.
Right.
That's number one. The second leg is, what do you need to win an election as a governor in any state in Nigeria? You don't need 1 million votes, even in Lagos State. You don't need 700,000 votes, even in Lagos State. Can you commit to the next 4 years of your life and say, I will raise 1 million people, I will raise 400,000 people, I will raise 300,000 who believe in the message that I'm preaching, and who will go with me into the next election to vote for me? Until we're ready to do that hard work, if nothing will change.
Well, where do you find those kind of people?
That is
You
in
are-
Nigeria.
No, you are one of them.
No, I mean.
She's one of them. They are part of.
So
they-
where do
invariably,
you find, because we have a function where the fact that you go to a university doesn't make you literate.
Right.
You can't process so many things. I speak to people that I even feel that they should understand. They find it difficult to process how local government election matters to
have you
them.
met anyone who doesn't want a better Nigeria? No. No.
I've met so many that don't care about Nigeria.
No. But if Nigeria can become better,
Right.
would they
Then
want
the
that?
yes. Yes.
Where their children can go to hospital without having to pay fees, where their children can go to school, where there can be homes over there. Have you met a Nigeria who doesn't want that?
So how do you explain Rivers people? On one hand, you find people protesting. On the other hand, you find people like this election must hold.
And
You find so many people in Wike's council or ward. There was no election material.
And yet APP won.
You don't seem to understand that. Resources, right? Oil and gas in rivers. Whoever controls it per time is the man. It's not about the people. The people don't matter. Nobody has made it about the people. Can you come from Rivers State and say, you know what? I'm going to build a people that will truly care about Rivers State, that do not feel helpless. It's hard work.
But can that be done without the political class?
Can you rebuild the political class? Can you are you a member of a political party? No, he's not a member of a political party. He's not a member. You are. You're not. If you take a sample here, nobody's. Are you going to change the political system?
Are you a member of a political party?
I am, but I'm not allowed to mention on here. But I am. But I
I
am.
wasn't going to ask you to.
No, but so
Are you just a card-carrying member of a political party, or are you actively involved?
I'm actively involved in
Okay,
politics in my
all right,
area.
that's
But I won't,
But you won't.
No, I don't want. I mean,
No,
I can
you're
mention.
not mentioning the name of the party.
Let me tell you, a very short story. There's a guy you know. I won't mention his name. Never been involved in politics. Live in BGC. Real life story. He was going on one day from church, one of these churches, mega churches in Ikeja Axis. When he got to that Ikeja roundabout before they demolished it, everyone was jumped. Everyone was locked. Then the guy came, boom, 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 boom. And he was like, you know what will happen today will happen. He moved his car. So he wanted to prevent the guy from jumping the queue. But the guy was able to pass. Then he looked at the guy's number. He called the guy. He happened to be a big man in Lagos State. I said, "Go, but you can't do that." And he replied, "Do you want to kill yourself? Why would you do that?" When he got home, he said, "You know what? I'm going to join a political party today." He looked for his, the ward members. He went to join. He said the person, he lives in Etiosa. Etiosa is supposed to be the
like
richest
rich, yeah.
local government area. He said what shocked him was that the people who are controlling his destiny were the carpenters, his mechanics, the pepper seller, and he said, I don't get it. Not one big man was there.
And you want to change.
He tried to get his friends involved and he said, oh, Nigeria matter, I beg. I can tell you the end of the story, but in the end, very well. But we need to get involved. That's the only way it will change. It won't change by itself. Right. You will get to a point, you will push this nation off the edge, and the edge you're pushing it to is even worse.
Is this the campaign for potential reform needed both at the political level and the judiciary, which of course is your constituency? Is this what you're also speaking to this morning, that for that change, for that needed change, everyone must be involved and not just assume that because you are there, I really do not need to be there.
I'll answer this question this way. See, if I'm planning to become the president of the country in 20 years, in 10 years, you know what I would do? I'm interested in who goes to the bench. I'm interested in who becomes the IGP. I'm interested in total state capture. That is because I want to become the president of the country. Now, if you don't want me to capture the state, you have to provide a counter. If there's no counter, I'm going to have a free course. And what is happening is that you have a lot of people having free courses because there are no counters. Because people are saying, okay, I'd rather japa. Let me leave the country. Nobody is engaging the system. Engaging the system will cost you your life, will cost you money, will cost you everything. If you are not ready to engage that system, the system won't change by itself.
So who takes the lead now?
You take the lead. I take the lead. She takes the lead.
So we have a situation in River State, and I'm wondering how some people will be feeling in River State at the moment. It's
It
like,
doesn't matter how they feel. In 8 years' time, you have another strong man who wants to chase
Fubara.
or
Fubara.
better still, Fubara will go and pick the person.
That's what happens. He
picks the person,
and the guy wants to. It's the same story.
He's
You've witnessed.
probably grooming somebody now.
No, it's just. And you know what pains me the most? You look at the Lagos example, I won't mention it, and you look at the governors we've had in Lagos State. Even if you accuse the president in court of handpicking them, they've performed, all of them, creditably. But you know what happens in other states? They're looking for dummies. And I won't mention it. The quality keeps degenerating. A man declared wanted, 117 billion naira fraud, and the governor of his state. No.
Did you just, was that on a low key?
That was not intended. I was thinking out loud. But seriously, we need, all of us here, we need to engage the system.
Honestly speaking, I feel a little bit the desperation from politicians, from both sides of the divide.
Parties.
Yes, especially River State is a theater at the moment. I remember when Wike was also pursuing Amici for, and they had to set up a committee to investigate some of this thing. Nothing came of that.
Nothing
anyway.
ever comes of
it. Was just to
the drama, the coups, the entertainment.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, do we even understand the ramification or the import of even conducting it? Because I've done this. I personally am tired because I've asked this question and over again.
It's becoming
because
academic.
The challenge is, I can understand the politicians. The politicians will always be politicians. They just want to capture as much as possible, whether the people or the resources or even the infrastructure of states. I do understand that with politics, and it happens everywhere, even in the United States.
Everywhere
even the best of everywhere.
Look at the war to put anybody in the Supreme Court. How they go about it. If anybody wants to go to the Supreme Court,
exactly.
You see the war. No, you can't go. No, you can't go.
You can imagine the wage issue in the United States, and of course they said every time they talk to Donald Trump, they say, look, you are the one that actually stopped this women's right and all that. But back here is, how can't we? Is it that we've not gotten to that point to understand the enormity of our own actions as a people? Especially, I'm talking of River State now, because every time I see it like kalu. You play lotto, you play lottery with future. And River State is one of the most enlightened political group in terms of they are very political.
Can you deal with the fact that people are just pawns to these people? Can you deal with that fact that they're just expendables? They don't matter. And the people themselves, they enjoy the show. They're not able to see deeply that their lives are at stake. I'm talking about across all the states. And they can't see that they are the ones who are suffering. But to the politicians, they're just expendables. People can't lead themselves. People do not self-organize. You need people to lead people. That is the reality of life. You need people to lead people. Take this your office, for example. If you leave everybody to their own devices, you will meet chaos. You need somebody to say, guy, no, you can't go in this direction. Yes, you go in that direction. Unless you have people. I mean, go back to our military years and all of that. You had the CLO, you had NADECO, you had people engaging the government and said, no, you can't go in this direction. Who's engaging anybody right now? You think people are self-organized? They are not self-organized. They don't have the capacity to lead themselves. They don't. Human beings don't.
You just answered my question, and I'm a little bit scared.
No, human beings don't. Right. If you don't organize your home, it will be a mess. Human beings cannot self-organize. You need people to organize them.
Right. So the incoming report now is stating that one local government, Eleme local government area in River State has been set ablaze. Sporadic gunshots being heard around other local governments. As we heard earlier today, the police did say that the 3-month siege on local councils have been lifted, and they were vacating the local government areas so that the council chair could have their way. But now that it seems like there won't be peace anytime soon in Rivers, what are your fears?
Nothing. But nothing. People are going to be assassinated. More houses will be burned. Bombs will be thrown. It's just one thing leads to
So
another.
it's a process.
It's
I
a
mean,
process,
it's
and we've gone through it many times.
And
And
after
nothing,
a while,
nothing will happen.
and,
We go back
you
to
know.
2027, and there will be elections again. Fulbara will win. 2032, if they have choices,
Are you sure he's going to win? Are you sure he's going to win 2027?
As a
It's
state
not-
governor.
it doesn't matter who the strongest man is. The strongest man will win, whosoever that person is.
It's
It's
okay.
just about that context.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
it's a cycle.
And
we'll
we've been
continue
through it
to
since
go.
1999,
Oh,
and nothing
okay.
will change.
So now we have 22 APP members, one
One AA, Action Alliance.
and of course Fulbara himself came into governorship as a PDP man.
Yes.
We also is this, and I remember the presidential candidate of the PDP.
I
Atiku
read
Abubakar,
his
You
statement.
read that,
It's
also
true.
talking about the fact that this could also pose danger for the PDP in that state. But I'm sure that perhaps the deal will be for the local government chair to hold the camp to the PDP at the end of the day.
Or for Fulbara to come to that
Or
party.
for
And
Fulbara to-
2027, everybody will come back to PDP. You can predict this thing sitting
So
there.
again, the political class. Is the political class one of the most dangerous issue or species that we're dealing with? So if you put side by side the political class and Nigeria's democracy, where is the meeting point?
You know, okay, so I grew up under the UPN administration, 1979 to 83, you know, secondary school and all of that. You knew the 5 governors who were the Lobo state, Lagos, Ogun, Dobende, and one other state. You knew what Ajashin stood for. You knew what Jakonde stood for. You knew what these people stood for. What does anybody stand for now? Grab power, no plans for the people. How come the elite, people like you, how come you didn't get to ascend to that space? What are you expecting from the people who are there? I don't want to mention it. I don't want to put your station into trouble.
We'll put a disclaimer.
Oh, no, please do. You know. But seriously, the people you have as your governors now, can you beat your chest and say, I expect this from this? You can't give what you don't have. They're not being mean. They don't have the capacity to
give
give
it
what you're
because
asking
they
them
don't
to
have
do.
it.
And you know what? Nobody's holding them accountable. So what does it take to recall a member of the House? 200,000 votes. How come the people are not engaging that process? Nobody's leading people to engage that process.
But it's
They
been
know.
tried many times. It's never
No, why
worked.
does it fail? Because you can see. Let me give you this final analysis. I don't
Sorry,
know. Yeah.
Again, maybe as you give the final analysis, maybe also we need to also start putting the people on their toes as well. Our leaders aren't far from us. They were picked from us. And so if you look at the lead and the leaders, can you really differentiate?
Same system, cut from the same gap. The next guy has, waiting to become the governor, the councillor, and repeat the same thing as the people. And you know why? Because nobody's being held accountable. I will tell you something. Only 74 persons in the entire country are immune from prosecution. Only 74. You know, the 36 governors and the deputy, the president and his vice. That's about 74. What happened to the people who have ceased to be governor? What has the EFCC done to prosecute them and jail them? Nothing. You know what that sends out? That, nothing will happen. Until we begin to make an example of the political class, then nothing will happen. There are no consequences for bad behavior, and no country survives that way. Believe me, the answer still lies in that unknown guy, leading people, teaching them, and leading them to a path that he believes in. Whether good or bad, I don't care. But you need people to lead people. People generally all over the world, they don't have a compass. They don't have a sense of direction. They need people to say, we're going in this direction. And you need people to rise up to do that. Until we do that, what we're saying is that, kò sí nǹkan tó kàn mí tó bá lè jù máa sá kúrò Nigeria. That's all. And that doesn't work. That doesn't grow any nation.
Okay. We'll probably have to leave. Joshua, can we leave the conversation here? Or do you have a final?
Do we have like 15 minutes more to do this?
I'm sure you were being sarcastic. All right. Thank you so much, Tunde.
Thank you
for
so
finding
very
time
much.
to be here on
Thank
the
you.
program.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.
It didn't help our conversation this
No, I know.
morning.
Yes, I know.
You know that you
No,
didn't.
you know why I didn't help? Because she knows that. It's the same story.
No, I mean, it's okay.
It's the same
you didn't
story.
help Joshua's conversation.
No.
But you probably also were being truthful to the situation on ground. So
yes.
until we're
We're
ready,
engaged.
until we're ready, we'll continue
We
to...
come, like he said, he has asked the same question many times from different
And he'll
people. And we continue
ask.
to ask until we are
yes,
ready to engage
until
the
there's a
evil before
change.
us.
All right, let's just give the benefit of the doubt and hope that perhaps something good will come out from this particular situation. But like we've heard stories coming out from Rivers, it doesn't look like things are calm. Sporadic gunshots, and we do hope that the police and other security agencies will quell the situation. And at the end of the day, peace will return to that state. But I know that, of course, until the gladiators come to a round table, there's no resting place. And as we speak, that's the much we'll take on this side of the table. We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, Adebimpe and Joy will be on your screen.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer,